So while urban America was probably lounging around last weekend, Jill, you were actually on a tractor working. Why don't you tell us about life in, is it Kansas or Oklahoma?
Okay, we are on the border of Kansas and Oklahoma, so it's a bow. I live in Kansas. We drive into Oklahoma. The farming we were doing happened to be in Oklahoma. So yes, my whole family doing a little harvest. So it's go time down there. And I jumped into one of the combines so that I could take advantage of seeing the new technology that John Deere was piloting in that machine. So it was fascinating to me to be able to see the dots and all of the location data on there. I can hop in a tractor and help them out and drive, for planting in the fall or for harvesting, wherever I need to be. But mostly I'm the in and out and can help the family out a little bit, when and where needed.
And what's neat about that is that you have a real appreciation for the technology, given that you're a technology leader in your community. Why don't you tell us about Ken Oakland, what you do there?
Okay, so my other role during the day, or all the time, I'm the CEO of Can Oakland, which is half Kansas, half Oklahoma. We do provide to small communities along the Kansas-Oklahoma border. So in that, I'm always looking for ways that ag can utilize more technology and getting fiber to the farm, which we did 12 years ago. And every farm and ranch has fiber in our area, but it's what they're doing out in the field. So how can we pull that data? What do you do when you get back to that farm? We do a lot of point to point. You could crawl up on a grain bin. You can do a point to point service about a mile away if you can find that connectivity. If there's no trees, which we're pretty sparse on trees right there too. So it's quite a bit of grain area right there and cattle. So we do raise cattle as well, and it's been pretty nice to have that security system that the cameras on, especially during calving season. We raise Angus beef, so it's nice to see our bulls in one area. It's nice to see the new babies and know if anybody's having trouble, and then they can want to, run out to that. So
And we can use it for, and when you say run out, it's not like you're going across your backyard.
no, we're driving a few miles, depending on where the pastures are and where everything's kept. But all the logs now, they're keeping it on the cloud, and so all of them can access it. When I say all, I'm saying my husband and my two sons, and they can access that information. They know which cow had that calf and where they're located. So we keep track of everything that way. It's just been so much easier with technology just to have that point to point. We have an office out in the shed. A lot of farmers will use video from YouTube instructional. If John Deere can't get out to their location to fix something fast enough, there's some online troubleshooting going on. But our communities are surrounded by sit right between two. John Deere, we're at least 40 minutes from one and 30 from another. So you've got drive time there. And when it's go time, you need technology to work for you so that you can try to get back in the field sooner. So if that technician is still driving out there, we're hoping the online technology is going to be good enough. Cellular is spotty. Satellite works when it works. Everything relies on the fiber out there. So the point to point, we also have fixed wireless. So we have it all out there, and we kind of mesh it all together to pick up where one left off. So it's fascinating to try to figure it all out. There's always a solution to be solved out on the farm, that's for sure.
And the technology just is adding to incremental productivity, right? I think we heard, three times in the last 70 years of the production?
Yeah, and watching GPS auto steer take off. So in that world, you'll have those early adopters, but once you got that GPS auto steer on your combine or your tractor, especially if you're planting, it is so precise down the rows that you're not overlapping, you're not wasting fuel, seed, any fertilizer. The cost savings are enormous if you utilize it. So you need one in each machine. You can take one out of one machine and put it into the other, or you just purchase some for every machine. So it took a while for the adoption. I asked my husband what he thought that rate was. He said 90%, because actual effects can be seen, and they're just so adaptable to it because of the savings they get. So any of the new things, they might be a little bit slower to react because they're going to watch and see if it works, and it's going to save them a little bit of time and money, which time is money, especially in Tornado Alley or storms or whatever's happening in that area. So I think the adaptability is there, that they were first adopters to some of that that was pushed out by some of the bigger implement dealers because it was pretty much force out there. Now we're relying on tractors with software, and the troubleshooting is software related. It's not so much a wrench and tools and changing your bear. I mean, you still have to change your bearings, but it's more about troubleshooting from afar, possibly from the John Deere dealership, or they'll send a tech out. We do have the specialty schools out in the regions now, especially the community college and the John Deere. You have to sponsor a kid, and then they will go through your program, and then they will for that John Deere dealership, and then they're trained to come out and work on that specific, troubleshooting issues. So, and then just picking up on, things that they can learn online, or what part do I need, or what does it look like? And then you've got to get it in and out as fast as you can. So I don't know, they're just fast moving, hardworking, very adaptable, perfect for a very techie world. And I think that's the opposite of what most people think that would happen in rural areas. You always hear a slower pace. Well, not so much on the farm, but a slower pace might just mean you don't have to spend 1 hour in traffic behind other cars. That's the only thing that's slower. But my gosh, it's the highest, heckiest field right now. And so I'm just fascinated with how can Okla play a role in that. We've got, in one of our member communities, we've got a brewery utilizing the cattle from his ranch. He's also growing artisanal wheat that he's feeding into his brewery. He's making the buns with the wheat, the beef for the hamburger, and then he feeds the cattle the foam off of the brew, and he's making the wheat, using the wheat and the grains that he's growing for his beer. I mean, it's a complete sustainable system. And so we did a feature story on that. It's amazing what's happening out here in our rural spaces. Yeah. And especially people moving back that want, say, maybe a third generation, fifth generation. Nobody's using grandpa's farm. Can I move out there? And they're coming back and they're wanting to either fix up an old farmhouse or put a house on there. Usually one of the spouses works remote and one wants to live close to the land and actually know where his food's coming from, or at least have a sense of community around them, and no traffic. That is the bonus out there.
Well, and it sounds like there's time for the person on that combine to do something else, like your daughter.
So my daughter, she was an art teacher, and she was using the time on the auto steer. She was on one of the large fields. It's a whole section across. You set your auto steer, your GPS, it's going to send you across that field. She had plenty of time to look away from the field, her steering wheel. She was working on a new curriculum that she built for her Masters of Art class that summer, and she did the whole thing on the tractor. It alerts you, it'll beep to you, alert you when to look up, pull up your implement, turn around, put it back in, and it takes off. She did the whole thing. She was like full multitasking on that. So yeah, she appreciates it so much.
Well, do you see it, with the autonomy coming out, John Deere has shown some examples of, some early prototypes and stuff. Do you foresee that changing the way work gets done?
So it seems there's a lot more land coming up for sale here and there. If there's a third or fourth generation, maybe fifth generation, there's no one else to run the farm. Those are going up for sale in some of our areas, but they're not being purchased by farmers. The price is a little out of the range. It's usually somebody wanting to utilize it for hunting ground, or maybe somebody's wanting it for investment. So it's changing. You don't know your neighbors as much anymore. It's getting a little strange in that regard, but they usually do need someone to farm it. So you're meeting new people, or you're trying to educate them about how the whole Farm Bill program works. I mean, how everything it's just a balance. And there's so many things with Mother Nature that could go wrong. So it is a balance. And I think that's the key, is balancing it and knowing what's where and who's where, and how everybody's connected, and then how you make the most of that.
Yeah, from an autonomous tractor standpoint, though, do you think it'll change? I mean, do you think your husband might be working from his, living room?
Yeah, so the farm itself is completely connected, and you could control that if you trust it. So I think seeing it and believing it, which I have, watched the videos, I've seen how it works, that pilot testing out in Utah I was telling you about. So they could do that, and that could be very handy for large swaths of places. If you have to pick it up and turn it all the time, I mean, there is that too. I mean, I guess it could allow more adaptability of anybody that could control it from the office while they're trying to do something else. But I guess that's a very expensive machine to be not have a body in it. So I'm not sure. I think it would happen over time, and that remote grain cart that could tag along and follow that combine, or the combine triggers that to come so that it could take its load and never stop. I see that one coming first.
And kind of like a platooning type thing where you have one leader and then the others are autonomous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And the pilot, he was showing me on his screen in his tractor, did have a mark for all of his combines and his grain card. And it could tell, I asked about the truck, and that was going to come next, so that you could tell where all of your pieces are. And it almost is like a video. So I think that's that technology that our kids have grown up with. They're just adapting to it. And then they go and learn, and they come back. They want to be on the farm. They want to come back. I ran into so many young farmers returning to the area. They just are excited about how to use their technology, all of the stuff they already know how to use. Convincing dad and grandpa how to adapt to that has been their challenge, probably more than anything, but also being smart about where do you put it? How can you use it? It's got to be cost or it's got to be an efficiency savings, or they're not going to adapt it. Margins are so small right now.
That makes sense. And just from a smart rural community standpoint, are you seeing some of this start to revive some of your communities?
Absolutely. We've had so many new people come to town. I've got one just landed here from New York. And I did ask, well, how'd you find us? Well, he had a scout looking for somewhere that had fiber connectivity because he works for them. He has got his own IT consulting company. He works for a very large corporation that's on change management and implementing some of those things. Fascinating to talk to. I just had to go see what he was up to because he had purchased a church. Now, a lot of small communities probably might have these large church buildings going unused. Possibly, I don't know. This particular church was unused, and it had gone up for auction. So he bought it. He's converting it to a 3-bedroom house on one side, and then you'll complete it with 2 apartments on the other. I'm just fascinated because he can work from anywhere. Yeah. He's an hour from the airport with less traffic to get there than he would if he lived in a big city. So it's got all the, right on the interstate. So he chose that over the state of Washington. I'm still not sure how or why, but I'm going to find out. My mother, she's kind of our welcome wagon of a small town, and so she invites new people over to do either Archival Trail Fest, get involved somehow. But she has a little group. She's getting ready to go work on some upstairs space downtown for a museum, and she needs some workers and some viewers. And or she ran into him and asked him to come over and help, and so he was there. She sent me a picture a little while ago. I thought, oh, the new guy came, and she said, yeah, and he fit right in. And so he's from New York, so we'll see if he liked the Midwest. So
now we know your secret. It's your mom. Yeah,
she's the secret. She's the secret sauce. Usually she'll take new people. We have a Chisholm Trail Fest, so she'll take new people and dress them up like a dance hall girl. And then, but I know that's your initiation to the town. But you do meet a lot of people, and then you feel like you fit in, and you know what the customs are. I mean, Yeah. So she's a go-getter.
That's great. It sounds like a really fun place, and Jill, it's great to catch up with you.
Well, thanks for asking. I appreciate it.
Thanks.